How dare you lie about my husband like that? She shouted. Mommy, I am not lying, Nonso cried, tears running down her face. He tried to kiss me, but Ada wouldn't listen. You are just jealous, Ada screamed. You want to destroy my marriage. You are trying to take my husband from me. Nonso's heart shattered. Mama Nonso, whose real name was Ada, was a beautiful woman in her mid-30s. Her skin glowed like polished bronze, and her smile could light up a whole room. She carried herself with grace, and her beauty always turned heads wherever she went. Men loved her, some for her beauty, others for her confidence. But Ada wasn't the kind of woman to fall for every man's charm. She had been through too much in life to be easily deceived. When she was a teenager, she got pregnant. The man responsible denied the baby, leaving her heartbroken and alone. She decided to raise her daughter, Nonso, all by herself. It wasn't easy, but she worked hard and managed to provide a good life for her child. Even though she was a single mother, Ada still looked young and attractive. Most people did not believe she had a 13-year-old daughter. Men continued to chase her, offering love, marriage, and promises, but Ada turned most of them down until she met Chinedu. Chinedu was dark, tall, and muscular, with full beards, the proper definition of TDH, tall, dark, and handsome. He had a charm that could melt hearts. His friends called him Baba for the girls because of how much he loved women. But when he met Ada, something changed. He felt a strong pull towards her, not just physical attraction, but something deeper. Ada too felt like fate had brought him into her life. After years of being alone, she finally allowed herself to love again. A few weeks into their relationship, Chinedu proposed. Ada said yes without hesitation. She believed she had finally found a man who would love her and her daughter the way they deserved. They got married in a small but beautiful ceremony. Ada looked stunning in her white dress, and Nonso was happy to see her mother smiling again. Soon after, they all moved into Chinedu's house. Chinedu treated Nonso kindly, always bringing her snacks and gifts. He helped her with her school assignments and even attended her school events. Ada was grateful. She thought she had married a man who not only loved her, but also accepted her daughter as is. Ada worked as a sales representative for a large company. Her job often required her to travel to different cities for meetings and presentations. At first, she tried to limit her trips, but as she began earning promotions and responsibilities, she found herself away from home more often. Nonso, be a good girl, she would always say before leaving. Listen to your stepdad. I will be back soon. Nonso would nod and smile, waving goodbye. She loved her mother and understood that the travels were part of her job. She also liked Chinedu, who treated her nicely and always made sure she did not feel lonely. But slowly, things began to change. Chinedu started paying more attention to Nonso. At first, it seemed harmless, fatherly even. He would compliment her clothes or hairstyle. You are growing into a fine young woman, he would say, with a smile that sometimes lingered too long. He started buying her more expensive gifts, new shoes, perfume, and even a phone. Nonso felt happy and confused at the same time. Sometimes he would sit too close to her on the couch. Other times, his eyes would linger on her body in a way that made her uncomfortable. but she did not know how to react. She thought maybe she was overthinking it. Then one evening, everything changed. It was a Friday evening. Ada had traveled for a 3-day conference in Abuja. Nonso was at home with Chinedu. He decided to cook dinner for the two of them. The smell of fried rice and grilled chicken filled the air. He also opened a bottle of wine for himself. They ate together at the dining table, and he kept on pouring himself more drinks. Soon, he became tipsy and started talking too much. Nonso, he said, his voice low and slurred, "You are very beautiful, just like your mother. Sometimes I even forget you are our daughter." Nonso laughed nervously. "Daddy, I think you have had too much to drink." But he leaned closer, his eyes half closed. "I mean it. You are special to me." She quickly stood up. "Good night, sir," she said, rushing to her room. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept replaying his words in her mind. She tried to convince herself he did not mean it in the wrong way, that it was just the alcohol talking. But deep down, something felt wrong. The next morning, Nonso was in the kitchen making tea when Chinedu came in. He looked sober but quiet. She tried to act normal, greeting him politely. But before she could walk away, he grabbed her hand. "About last night," he said softly. "I meant every word." Nonso froze. Then before she could react, he leaned in and tried to kiss her. She screamed so loudly that the neighbors could have heard her. Chinedu jumped back, shocked. He muttered something under his breath and quickly locked himself in his bedroom. Nonso sat on the floor, shaking and crying. She did not know what to do. She wished her mother was there. When Ada returned that evening, she immediately felt that something was off. The air in the house was tense. "Is everything okay?" she asked. Chinedu smiled. "Of course, my love. We are fine." Nonso nodded weakly. She was too scared to speak. The next day was Sunday. After church, Nonso couldn't hold it in anymore. She called her mother aside and told her everything. The gifts, the strange stares, the dinner, the attempted kiss. Ada stood there in silence for a moment. Then her face hardened. "How dare you lie about my husband like that?" she shouted. "Mommy, I am not lying," Nonso cried, tears streaming down her face. "He tried to kiss me." But Ada wouldn't listen. "You are just jealous," Ada screamed. "You want to destroy my marriage. You are trying to take my husband from me." Nonso's heart shattered. She looked over at Chinedu, who stood at the corner, smirking, pretending to be innocent. Ada, blinded by love and anger, decided that her daughter was the problem. That evening, she packed Nonso's clothes into a bag. "You can go and stay wherever you want," she said coldly, "not in my house." And just like that, she threw her daughter out. Nonso wandered the streets, crying and lost. She had no one to turn to. But then she remembered her grandmother, her mother's mother, who lived in a small town a few hours away. She took the last bit of money she had and boarded a bus there. When she arrived, her grandmother opened the door and gasped, "Nonso, my child, what happened?" Nonso broke down crying. She told her everything. Her grandmother hugged her tightly and said, "Don't worry, you are safe now." For the next few years, Nonso lived with her grandmother. She went back to school and focused on her studies. Her grandmother became a rock, a comfort, and a guide. Though she missed her mother, she never tried to reach out again. Meanwhile, back in the city, Ada's marriage was falling apart. At first, everything seemed fine after Nonso left. Chinedu was all smiles, pretending to be the perfect husband. But soon, his true nature came out. He started staying out late, coming home smelling of women's perfume. Ada would find lipstick stains on his shirts and strange calls at ungodly hours, sneaking around to take calls. When she confronted him, he would laugh. You are just imagining things, he would say, walking away. But the signs were too clear to ignore. One afternoon, Ada returned home early from work and found Chinedu in bed with another woman. Her world crumbled. She screamed, threw things, and cried until she lost her voice. The same man she had defended, the same man she threw her daughter out for, was cheating on her, not once, but many times. It wasn't just random women. He slept with neighbors, church members, even one of Ada's friends. Ada became a shadow of herself. The once beautiful, confident woman was now broken and full of regrets. Years passed. Nonso grew into a strong, smart young woman. She graduated from school and started working part-time while studying at the university. Her grandmother was proud of her. But one morning, there was a knock on the door. When Nonso opened it, she froze. It was her mother. Ada looked older, tired, and full of pain. Her once glowing skin was dull, and her eyes were swollen from crying. Nonso, she said softly, tears welling up. Please forgive me. Nonso stood there, silent. She did not know what to do or say. I was blind, Ada continued, sobbing. I chose a man over my own blood. You tried to warn me, and I did not listen. Chinedu destroyed my life. He left me with nothing. Please, my daughter, forgive me. Nonso felt her heart ache. Part of her wanted to turn away, but another part remembered all the times her mother had worked hard to care for her when she was little. She remembered the sacrifices, the love, and she realized that holding on to anger would only hurt her more. She took a deep breath and whispered, I forgive you, Mommy. Ada broke down in tears and hugged her tightly. Thank you, my child. Thank you. For the first time in years, they both cried together, not from pain, but from healing. Life slowly began to get better for the both of them. Ada started attending church again, volunteering and helping young single mothers avoid the mistake she made. Nonso went on to build a successful career. She also used her story to inspire young girls to speak up and never let anyone take advantage of them. Their bonds grew stronger than ever. Chinedu, on the other hand, continued his reckless lifestyle. Word later spread that he fell sick and lost everything. Nobody felt sorry for him. Ada and Nonso learned that love should never blind you to the truth, and that family, no matter what, is worth fighting for. Sometimes the people we trust the most can be the ones who hurt us deeply. But forgiveness doesn't make us weak. It sets us free. Ada learned the hard way that being a pick-me woman, one who chooses love over wisdom, can destroy everything you hold dear. What would you have done if you were in Ada's position? And if you were to be in Nonso's position, would you have forgiven your mom? Do let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. And I will see you in my next. Bye.